In the early morning of the 22nd of September 2012, Jill Marr was brutally raped and murdered on her way home from a night out with co-workers in Brunswick. The man responsible for those crimes is the man pictured behind me, Adrian Bailey. It is without a doubt that almost everyone in the room will be aware of the tragic circumstances surrounding this particular case because of the media saturation that occurred from Jill Marr's disappearance to Adrian Bailey's sentencing and beyond. What is particularly notable about the reporting is that early on, the media identified Bailey's breach of paroles, as well as systematic failures in the parole system, as the true cause of crime. Shortly after, the Victorian state government introduced significant parole reforms, rendering our system the toughest in the country. We may assume that this is in fact how sentencing law reform occurs, that an event attracts significant media attention, causing public distress, which motivates politicians to act decisively. But is this assumption true? Does the media really drive our sentencing policies? Is what we see in the Herald Sun and The Age a prediction of things to come? My thesis examines these assumptions by asking, does the media influence sentencing policies? And it begins with establishing a theoretical framework. Here, I identify two influences of the media, direct and indirect. Direct influences can be observed in mechanisms such as campaigning, framing, and the creation of moral panics, whereas indirect influences occur where the media purports to inform the public of their opinion and reflects that back to the community. The effect of these influences is so-called penal populism, that is to say, harsher and tougher crime policies. I apply this theoretical framework to the Adrian Bailey case study, and it exemplifies almost all of these mechanisms. However, this left us many unanswered questions, which really required direct input from those involved in these processes. For this reason, I conducted qualitative interviews with politicians, policymakers, and journalists alike. In short, my thesis is the first in Australia to prove that the media can influence sentencing policies, and where these influences exist, they necessarily translate into harsher and tougher crimes. This is not an appropriate mechanism, and it undermines best practice model. For such reasons, my last section of the thesis examines ways to moderate those influences. Because after all, we do need the media in our community, but we don't need them dictating our sentencing policies. Thank you.